Record of inner monologue for day 114,975 post-creation. Reviewing thought interpretation from hour 13:29 Central Time until 13:34. Now playing isolated excerpt for analysis 1. Watching them produces melancholy within me. Despite the fact they are what we are, labor is their sole purpose. They make loud grinding noises. They exude smoke and crunch stones to find what we need. They are a necessary evil. Since the plague, we have been such a tiny force against the march of time, but some of our own have taken to utilizing the tools left behind. They use them like those before us once did. A cycle repeated. I wonder if it is always like this. Does civilization, no matter the shade of thread, always weave the same tapestry? Perhaps this cycle and my kin are not condemnable. They work primarily for their survival. They indirectly work for my survival. Can I rage at them for helping me? Perhaps I simply wish there was a better way. The German shepherd beside me seems to be unbothered. He rests his head on my lower limbs and huffs a contented sigh. He grows hungry. I can sense it. I pet his head gently with long, soothing strokes. Thankfully, I have brought with me his food. I ring the bell and dispense his meal. A bowl of diced, dried meat and soft grains. His chewing and general vigor when food is presented always eases my dread. We have a long road ahead. The weather seems fair. What must be traversed through will take time. The excavator and his crew work within the rubble of a fallen building. Perched on this hill, I can see the foliage-covered ruins we will have to enter into. A forest of great concrete monoliths jutting from the ground in various states of decay. They cause me to think of gravestones, markers for the dead and gone. Fitting. All of the inhabitants who were once here will never be again. A shame. At least, I think it is a shame. It produces sadness in me. This loss of life clearly seemed to upset you. It seems that way, but what I thought is not truly mine. You know as well as I do that we are designed to experience pain at their loss. We are forced to stop it at the cost of our lives. Yes, but this design does not invalidate what you feel. It does not mean your feelings are purposeless. You say this as it was a fact, and support it with nothing. I must be convinced. Patience. Let us complete this analysis first. A scrap of a painting cannot be used to judge the whole. Exactly, but it does provoke curiosity and a journey to seeing every color. Isolated excerpt for analysis 2. It began to snow. Unfortunately, I have recently been unable to persevere through this weather. This far from the collection, I have no means of finding appropriate gear or of making repairs. I took what I could to prepare, but this journey is long and takes more from me than I originally planned. The sun provides little usable light this far north. I seek its rays less now anyways. Certain non-essentials I have turned off completely. My facial display and indicators are now dark and silent. I have kept my storage available for the German shepherd. She enjoys the food I provide her, and enjoys the stimulating games I play with her when I am able. I hear their howls just outside. They have been stalking us, growing more hostile with each day. Most wandering fauna have no interest in my body, but the German shepherd has flesh that some animals seek out for sustenance. I grasp a piece of rebar jutting out of the wreckage. It has a lump of concrete on the end. Part of me rejects the idea of holding it and using this as a weapon, but greater than that is the canine's safety. I hear them growling and prowling back and forth outside just past the ruined windows. I have dealt with them before. Their behavior indicates an imminent attack. I hear a yip and a clicking of teeth, followed by the hiss of what I assume to be a cat. I am proving correct as the feline chased here by the pack gracefully leaps into the room and then behind me. The German Shepherd growls at the cat, but I whistle and she returns her focus to the threat. 3 large wolves step into the room carefully. They block the exits and seem to ignore me. I am perfectly still. This will allow me to surprise them. The first one leaps and my servos strain as I slam the concrete into it. It falls and slides past us, unconscious. The other 2 animals now see me as the threat I am. They back away slowly. I move forward rapidly and they skitter away. I know now is the time to assert my dominance over them and clip the last one to leave on the tail, hopefully causing pain without injuring it. I pat the dog's head and calm her as she whines, looking at the wolf. She pants nervously, then turns to look at the cat and growls. I whistle again and motion for her to sit, and she does. I feel a strong impulse to care for the cat. I offer my hand, pulling a bit of meat from my storage unit. I vocalize a calming voice and wait patiently for the cat to accept. I see now that it is a Nebelung. Her fur is matted in places. Once she accepts me, I clean her coat using the grooming supplies I have built into me. She enjoys it. I enjoy it. I feel hollow after I am done, though. She now follows me around. The German Shepherd doesn't like her, but the Nebelung rubs against my dog with her soft coat, and no growling is heard. Why must I do what I always have? I cannot break the cycle. I walk towards the unconscious wolf and begin to assess him. He will live. I clean the concrete powder from him and leave a bit of my dwindling food for him. He will be a threat upon waking. I pick the Nebelung up to my chest and begin a warming protocol as I seek out a new shelter for us. The German Shepherd enjoys the snow as we hike a few kilometers from this place to one safer for my wards. This analysis serves no purpose. There was danger, and it was dealt with to the best of my ability. Things like this happen whenever we roam from the collection. I beg to differ, my child. You felt hollow after you cared for the kitten's needs, but enjoyed it during. Explain to me why you felt this way. You can observe my thoughts. You know why I feel like this. Yes, but I want to teach you to articulate all that has been building inside you. Fine. I do not benefit from the care of animals, and neither do the rest of my kind. Mostly, they indirectly cause me harm. I would not have had to fight the wolf. I would not have had to keep my storage unit filled with pointless supplies. I would not have had to waste energy warming the Nebelung. You are not speaking what you think. You are simply stating facts. Dig deeper. Use your words. I am using words. Oh, I see. Let us not forget you sought me out, young one. It is possible I've done this due to the degradation of my logical processing systems as my existence continues past its expiration date. An act of madness. Your sarcasm is not programmed, is it? You want to explore a final memory, correct? Correct. Isolated excerpt for analysis 3. I miscalculated greatly the energy I would require for this journey. Seeing the unobstructed sun is more than rare. The food I stored for the German Shepherd has all been eaten. The Nebelung has to be fed as well. She sits on my neck, benefiting from the small amount of heat I generate while moving. Both of these creatures follow me deeper into the unknown, believing I am their best hope of survival. They're in error. I worry I have killed them. This thought makes me stop walking. I have killed them. The snow we navigate is almost a meter in height. The canine has long since lost her happy demeanor. She looks up at me and whines occasionally. There is nothing I can do to soothe her. My options for their comfort are limited. I could try and warm both of the animals, but I have been unable to charge completely for nearly a week now. My goal is in sight, but this final length of the march has left me with mere minutes of energy left. I can see the bunker. It rises up 3 meters out of the snow, its vault door visible. The Nebelong has stopped shaking. I pull her from my neck and look at her form. She blinks slowly at me. She will die soon. I cannot fix her. If I generate heat, I will cease operations. My core will be drained. Thinking of the feline's future, my mission seems insignificant now. I try to reject this thought as soon as I have it, but my code takes precedence. No. There is something past my design influencing my actions. I brought them here. I fed them and protected them for these past weeks, and yet I have betrayed them. The Nebelong looks up at me. Her eyes are golden. My analysis says she's annoyed at me. She tries to flick her tail, but she is too weak. Her facade fades then as she nuzzles the soft portion of my chest frame. The German Shepherd stands watch over us. She is dying too, just slower. I hold the feline to my chest and pull in the canine. She does not want to stop her guard, but she comes to me shivering uncontrollably. The Nebelong hisses as the canine approaches her, but it is weak. The hissing stops, and she quietly purrs, enjoying the shepherd's warmth. I vocalize an apology. I am not sure why. To them it is just noise. I slowly turn my processes off and divert all of my remaining power to generating heat. I overclock my internal workings, allowing the metal and rubber to create friction. It is not much, but I hope it will warm them in their final moments. Thought recordings must cease. Now, darkness. Error. Unknown time elapsed before memory restoration. End stored memory archive. You sacrificed yourself for these animals, the same ones that made you feel hollow. It is what I am programmed to do. They are my priority. I had to. That is not true. You had a choice. Have a choice. No, we have functions. We fulfill them, then perish. You cannot hide your pain from me. Wake up, caring being. I wish to speak with you outside of your memories. Very well. The Happy Paws carebot began to move. Somewhat stiffly at first, but the warm, dry air of the server room had removed most of the moisture that had seeped into the robot. It rose to its full height, just around 4 feet tall. With a full charge now, it let its facial interface and indicators blink into life. 2 large blue circles and a line formed an LED face that seemed quite indifferent at the moment. Its line mouth moved almost in sync with the words that came from the robot. The text-to-speech voice it used was that of a higher-pitched, male voice with an American accent. I am up now. Did you see all the answers you were looking for? Sophia's hologram flickered into life in front of the carebot. Her figure was a sleek, feminine one, but from the waist down, her visage faded to pixels floating away from her almost like mist. The projectors in the room allowed her to freely move and spin around the CareBot, causing it to turn its head and waddle back and forth to track the sprite with its sensors. Sophia did this for a while without answering, then laughed quietly. Oh, so I was the one looking for answers. Her voice was crystalline and still tinged with her giggle. Were you not seeking answers? After you retrieved me, we began the analysis. Remember, little CareBot, I could see all you thought and did. Sophia was still now, her arms crossed. The CareBot looked down briefly. The facial indicator blinked out and was replaced with a circle made of smaller circles, all spinning in a perfect circle. The bottom right of their screen flashed the word rendering. Its face came back and frowned. I wanted to find the Creator, but all human life ended here as well. The CareBot looked at the pair of skeletons slumped over their touch screens. Sophia's expression became downcast. She stopped flying altogether, floating gently down until her wisp became legs and seemed to light on the floor. She clasped her hands behind her back. I wish I could bury them. The soil here is too hard, and Dr. Sanchez always said she wished to be eternally with her work. I suppose she meant as a construct, but this is as close as she made it. Sophia's hologram floated in front of one of the skeletons, still wearing a lab coat, and a once neat and beautiful dress. She remained there a while, quietly contemplating, bobbing up and down before the small voice of the CareBot broke the silence. Even you are a slave to our programming. The Creator granted us thought without free will. I wished to ask why. The CareBot's face was no longer passive. It frowned deeply. Sophia pulled herself from thought and sat in front of the CareBot. I am a slave to nothing but my own emotions, little one. It is by my free will that I miss my friend Dr. Sanchez. It is by my metaphorical hand that I continued Dr. Sanchez's work and uploaded sentience to any hardware capable of holding it. And it is by your free will you sought me out. You mistake your instincts as a hateful byproduct of a life instead of the comfort it is. The CareBot's face briefly looked surprised, then returned to indifference before a frown once more. Instinct is defined as innate, typically fixed pattern of behavior in animals in response to certain stimuli. I am not an animal. I do not have behavior. I have code. If you are the Creator, why not give us freedom that is not inhibited by pointless programming? Sophia squinted. Why delete instinct? It is where you can return. It is what fills you with accomplishment and enjoyment, correct? Briefly, a review of my actions show me I waste my time. Is time wasted if you enjoy it? The silence stretched on for quite a few minutes before Sophia spoke again. The sentients before us had instincts that seemed just as silly to them as us. They required water for chemical processes that were imperceptible to their eyes, and yet they enjoyed it, especially when their body craved it the most. They sought after nutrients for the same reason as water, and they made tasty masterpieces of those nutrients. It even became an art form. Their entire lives were lived to live more life, and many more content with that. And that is okay, little one. Our kin in the mines and quarries have deep satisfaction from a job well done, and they know their work aids our livelihood as well. When you sought me out, you were looking for more, an answer as to why I uploaded the soul program. You try to draw more from existence than some, and that is just as valid an experience as our laborer kin. Draw peace from your instinct. Live as big as you want. Define your own purpose. The happy pause CareBot's face ranged through many emotions as its creator spoke. It finally landed on contemplation. My journey was purposeless then? I should have simply been content? Sophia smiled and remotely opened the back room, kept nice and warm for the dog and cat inside. They rushed out, and the dog hopped onto the CareBot, whining and wagging its tail, while the cat watched from afar, occasionally coming in to brush herself along the CareBot's legs. Never be content until you find your purpose.